Hi, I'm Sofa, a 26-year-old from a charming tiny town in Italy. My life has always been simple, just like the narrow streets and stone houses that make up my hometown. I grew up surrounded by family, good friends, and plenty of old traditions. Everyone in town knows each other. Every shopkeeper, every street artist, every neighbor. I always thought my life was laid out perfectly. I'd study, marry my childhood love, and settle down here in my little town with the smell of fresh pasta in the air and the gentle sound of church bells every Sunday. But fate has a funny way of surprising us. I'd been engaged to Marco, a man I'd known for years. Marco was sweet, kind, and safe. Everyone thought we made the perfect match. My mother adored him. She'd often whisper to me with a smile, "Sophia, Marco is every mother's dream for her daughter." But just 1 month before our wedding, Marco called me. It was late evening, and I was in my room, dreaming about wedding plans and imagining what my dress would look like. I picked up the phone, expecting to chat about our honeymoon plans. But Marco's voice sounded strange, tense, almost cold. "Sophia," he said quietly, "I don't think we should get married. I'm not ready for this." I felt like the ground had disappeared beneath me. I was silent for a moment, clutching the phone as if it might bring him back to me. "What? Marco, what are you saying?" I asked, my voice trembling. He paused, then sighed. "I don't know how to explain, but I can't do this. I need to find myself. I am sorry." And then he hung up, leaving me staring blankly at the wall. My heart pounded in my chest, and a wave of confusion, anger, and sadness washed over me. The tears came quickly, and I felt as if my world had crumbled. For days, I stayed in bed, not wanting to talk to anyone, not even my best friend, Clara. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. And every time I closed my eyes, I saw Marco's face. My family tried to comfort me, but nothing they said made the pain go away. My dreams felt shattered, and I felt completely lost. Then, one morning, while lying in bed, a wild idea popped into my head. I remembered the honeymoon tickets we had booked for Paris. Why not go alone? It sounded absurd, even to me, a solo honeymoon, but the more I thought about it, the more it felt right. I needed to escape, to find myself, to do something bold and completely unexpected. I told my parents. At first, they looked at me as if I'd lost my mind. Sophia, alone in Paris? My mother asked, worried. But I was determined. Mama, I need to do this, I replied softly. I packed my bags, filled with both excitement and nervousness. This wasn't just a trip. It was a journey to rediscover myself. The airport was a whole new world for me. I'd never traveled alone before, and everything felt unfamiliar. I boarded the plane and settled into my window seat. Watching the tiny houses and roads disappear as we soared into the sky felt symbolic, like I was leaving my old life behind. The lady sitting next to me noticed my nervousness and gave me a kind smile. First time flying alone? She asked. I nodded. We began to talk. Her name was Marie, and she was from France. She was a traveler, an adventurer, someone who'd seen places I could only dream of. Her stories about distant lands and mountains fascinated me, and for the first time in weeks, I felt excitement rather than sadness. She looked at me and said, Sophia, you're about to have an incredible journey. Remember, Paris isn't just a city, it's a place to find magic, adventure, and maybe a little bit of yourself. Her words stayed with me. As we landed in Paris, stepping out of the airport, I felt a rush of emotions. The city was alive, busy, chaotic. People rushed past, taxis honked, and the aroma of fresh coffee and pastries drifted through the air. It was overwhelming and thrilling at the same time. My hotel was in a charming neighborhood, filled with narrow cobbled streets, cozy cafes, and artists painting on the sidewalks. I checked in and looked out my window. The view was beautiful. The rooftops of Paris stretched out before me, iconic chimneys dotting the skyline. I took a deep breath and thought, Sophia, this is the beginning of something new. The next morning, I visited the Eiffel Tower. The walk there was magical. Everything felt different from back home. The streets were lined with little bakeries, and people sat at outdoor cafes, sipping coffee and chatting. When I reached the tower, I looked up, mesmerized by its size and beauty. I felt tiny, surrounded by tourists from all over the world. A young girl with a red balloon ran up to me, her mother chasing after her. She handed me her balloon as a gift. Her mother laughed, saying, in a warm French accent, "She likes you. You must have a kind heart." I thanked her, holding the balloon, feeling my heart lighten. That simple gesture reminded me of the kindness people could show to a stranger. I continued exploring Paris. That afternoon, I stopped at a small, colorful cafe. I heard a cheerful voice next to me. Bonjour, may I join you? I looked up to see a young woman with bright red hair and a huge smile. Her name was Elise, a local artist who painted portraits on the streets. She seemed so carefree, laughing as she introduced herself. You're new here, aren't you? She asked, noticing my wide-eyed curiosity. I nodded. Soon, Elise was telling me stories about Paris, funny stories, wild stories, and stories that made me dream. She promised to show me hidden spots tourists don't know about. That evening, I returned to my hotel, heart full of new memories. I knew this was only the beginning. Already, I felt a little piece of myself returning. Over the next few days, I explored, met locals, and embraced new experiences, from extravagant French outfits to a crowded jazz club where I danced until my cheeks hurt. I even joined a street mime act, laughing at my own silliness. I tried escargot for the first time, played along with charming French strangers, and learned to let go of fears. By the last evening, sitting near the Eiffel Tower watching it sparkle against the night sky, I reflected on everything I had experienced. I realized how much I had changed. The sadness and confusion I had felt back home seemed distant, almost silly. I had faced fears, tried new things, and even pretended to marry a charming French stranger. Most importantly, I had learned to be happy with myself. The next morning, as I boarded my flight back to Italy, I felt a sense of peace I had never known. Paris had given me memories, friends, and confidence I could carry forever. Going home didn't mean returning to my old life. It meant starting a new chapter, one where I could be whoever I wanted to be. Sophia stepped out of her hotel the next morning, the Paris air crisp and filled with promise. Elise was waiting for me with a wide grin. Sophia, if you're going to truly experience Paris, you need a makeover, she said, dragging me down narrow cobbled streets toward a tiny boutique. The shop owner, a flamboyant older man named Pierre, looked me up and down and exclaimed, "Ah, we have work to do." Pierre wasted no time. He handed me outfit after outfit. One made me look like I belonged in a 1970s rock band. Another like I had stepped out of a royal costume party. I laughed so hard my stomach hurt. unable to believe what I was wearing. Finally, Pierre selected a classic, elegant dress, perfect for a Parisian evening. He clapped his hands, admiring his work. "Ah, now you are truly magnifique," he said. Looking at myself in the mirror, I felt different. It wasn't just the dress. It was a confidence I hadn't felt in weeks, a feeling of stepping into someone I could become, feeling glamorous. Elise and I decided to have dinner at a chic restaurant. Candlelit tables, waiters in bow ties, soft music filling the air. It was a scene I had only seen in movies. Elise insisted I try escargot, a French delicacy I had never even considered. When the tiny snails arrived, I stared at them, queasy, but determined to be adventurous. I took a deep breath and tried one. The garlic butter was rich, but the texture, well, I struggled to swallow. Elise burst out laughing. "You should have seen your face. Sophia, priceless." I laughed too, realizing it wasn't about the food, it was about letting go, embracing new experiences, and finding joy in the unknown. After dinner, Elise dragged me to a small, crowded jazz club tucked away in a quiet alley. The band played upbeat tunes. People danced, and laughter filled the room. Elise grabbed my hand. "Come on, Sophia, dance." I had never been much of a dancer, but that night I didn't care. We twirled and spun, laughing until our cheeks ached. A handsome stranger danced with me for a few moments, and I felt as if I were in a movie. For the first time in weeks, I was light, carefree, and fully alive. As we collapsed into our seats, breathless, Elise raised her glass. "To new beginnings," she cheered. "To new beginnings," I replied, smiling, clinking my glass with hers. The next day, I wandered through Montmartre, enchanted by the colorful streets and the artists painting along the sidewalks. A mime performed on a busy corner, moving as if climbing invisible ladders and pulling ropes that weren't there. The crowd laughed and cheered. Suddenly, he looked straight at me, raised an eyebrow, and beckoned me forward. My heart raced. I want to say no, but the crowd encouraged me. Before I knew it, I was part of the act. I pretended to smell an invisible bouquet of flowers, winced as if the thorns pricked me, and the crowd burst into laughter. I laughed too, feeling silly, alive, and free. Later, strolling along the Seine, a man carrying a guitar approached me. His hair was messy, his smile wide. "Excuse me, mademoiselle," he said with a thick French accent. "I am Jean-Luc, and I am looking for a wife. Are you interested? I laughed, thinking he was joking, but he was serious. He strummed his guitar and sang a playful French tune. I didn't understand all the words, but the melody was sweet and charming. People stopped to watch. I felt amused and delighted. Well, Jean-Luc, I am flattered, I said, but I think I have to keep exploring Paris first. He shrugged, smiled, and whispered, "Ah, the one that got away," winking before disappearing into the crowd. By the last evening, I returned to the Eiffel Tower, this time sitting on a bench, watching it sparkle against the night sky. I reflected on all I had experienced, the laughter, the new friends, the silly adventures, and the courage I had discovered in myself. I realized how much I had changed. The sadness and confusion I had felt back home now seemed distant, almost silly. I had faced fears, tried new things, and even pretended to marry a charming French stranger. Most importantly, I had learned to be happy with myself, even when life didn't go as planned. The Eiffel Tower shimmered with lights, and I whispered softly to myself, "Sophia, you are stronger and braver than you ever thought."